Good afternoon. Today I am discussing about solid mechanics. The subject code is PCME 502. This is my second class and our today's topic mathematical theory of plasticity. Okay, module 2, this is my lecture number 3. Okay. So now we start. First one, time and temperature effect. Previous day we have already discussed the stress strain diagram of a ductile material. Today I am discussing about time and temperature effect. First one, the result described above typical of those which would be obtained by slow application of the load in a testing machine. Under rapid loading, the hereditary nature of the material usually reveals itself. If the hereditary stress strain law is linear, it is often described as anelasticity or viscoelasticity. This one, this is the length versus time diagram. Okay, first one, time. The length increases with respect to time and in exponential. First one curve, and this one is the linear constant stress, this one is the constant load. Two diagram. If the strain is large, the hereditary stress strain laws for the material are generally non-linear. The time-dependent plastic flow is often described as creep. A simple tension specimen of lead wire under constant tension load shows a creep. Okay. The three stages of creep are called respectively. First one, primary, secondary and tertiary creep. Okay, this is the diagram. Creep test. Lead wire in tension. The initial length and the initial loads were the same in both the test. Okay, first one is the constant load, another one is the constant stress. Okay, this one, this is the length 0 to 32 and this one is the 0 to 500. Another one is the 22 to 32 length. So 22, 24, 26, one is the constant load, another one is the constant stress. Okay. Now go to third one. The creep rate and the length of the primary and secondary stages are dependent on the temperature and the stress level. At high temperature and high stress level, the secondary creep stage may not be appreciable. Very important. High temperature and high stress level, the secondary creep stage may not be appreciable. Now, the phenomenon of creep is important in geophysics, in those engineering problems in which accurate dimension must be maintained over a long period of time. It is controlling factor for the design of machinery that operates at high temperature. On the other hand, plastic deformation generates heat and a very rapid application of load is usually associated with a large temperature gradient, localized plastic flow and anisotropic effects. Continuous metal cutting is a good example of large localized plastic deformation. Okay, localized plastic deformation means permanent deformation. Okay, the material will not be able to get back to its original shape. Here the permanent deformation occurs. Another one is the size effect and stress inhomogeneity. Since practically all materials have a non-homogeneous microscopic structure, plastic properties of a small region may be different from those of a larger region. This consideration becomes important in the question of stress concentration in a notched specimen. Combined stress. What is the definition of combined stress? Stress we have already discussed. What is the definition of stress? Force by cross-sectional area. Here combined stress. One of the most important tasks of a mathematical theory is to extend and generalize the experience of a simple experiments and to suggest crucial tests to verify the basic assumption of the theory. In plasticity, this function of mathematics is particularly evident because here one must consider the stress and strain tensor, yet no direct observation of the components of this tensor is possible. A relatively simple combined stress experiment employs a thin-walled circular cylinder with the combination of an axial tension, a twisting moment about the cylinder axis, and an internal or external pressure, a good approximation to biaxial state of stress involving sigma 11, sigma 12, sigma 22, with sigma 31 equals sigma 32 equals sigma 33 equal to 0 can be produced. Much information has been gathered from such experiments. Among other things, it is found that the shear stress is by far major cause of yielding. Okay, far major cause of yielding. Okay, negligible stress. Okay, yielding means permanent. Okay, permanent deformation occurs. Okay, permanent deformation here actually this is beyond the elastic limit. Okay, now P.W. Bridgman's renowned experiments on the influence of hydrostatic pressure on yielding and other mechanical and metallographical characteristics on metal have shown that hydrostatic pressure of the order of the yield stress have practically no influence on yielding of metals. If a tensile test or shear test is run at atmospheric pressure in the standard manner, with the load and deformation recorded, immersion of the whole setup in a chamber under high hydrostatic pressure will hardly alter the stress strain curves in the small strain range. The major effect is to increase greatly the ductility of the material and thus permit much larger deformation prior to fracture. Conversely, very small changes in material density are found when a metal is subjected to repeated plastic deformation, indicating that the plastic volume change is small. Okay, very small change in material density are found when is subjected to repeated plastic deformation. Okay, repeated plastic deformation, that the plastic volume change is small. Okay, basic assumption of the mathematical theory of plasticity, very important. Basic assumption of the mathematical theory of plasticity. Plasticity means, previous day we have already discussed, plasticity, permanent deformation occurs. Okay, if the laws of linear elasticity and ideal plasticity as described are compared with the typical experimental features described in the paragraph, we can determine the applicability and limitations of the mathematical formulation. We see near the origin of the stress strain diagram of mild steel represented by the figure, the large flat yielding region, another one, all the rise beyond the point B shown, all are represented in the figure. That is the assumption of theory, assumptions of the mathematical theory of plasticity. Okay. If you draw the diagram, a curved portion of the curves, obviously previous day we have already discussed, represented neither by the elasticity law nor by the ideal plasticity law. The features of these curves, portions of stress strain curve, are said to be feature of strain hardening. Very important. It is evident that the stress strain laws of strain hardening will be basically different from those of ideal plasticity. Okay, ideal plasticity. So that is the another one property of the material. It is the objective of the theory of plasticity to offer a mathematical description of the mechanical behavior of material in the plastic range. Since the foundation of the theory of plasticity is not yet firmly established, we shall present below only an outline of some of the best known theories. Okay, so that is the mathematical model. For the purpose of describing the state of stress at any point in the material, it is convenient to represent each state of stress by a point in a 9-dimensional stress space with axis sigma ij 1, 2, 3. Similarly, a state of strain may be spoken of as a point in a 9-dimensional strain space with component Eij. In a particular state of plastic strain, Eij may be so represented. A program of loading may be regarded as a path in the stress space and corresponding deformation history as a path in the strain space. A basic assumption is made is that there exists a scalar function called a yield function or loading function. Yield function, really function of yielding, and another one is the loading function, which depends on the state of stress and strain and the history of loading, and which characterizes the yielding of the material as follows. The equation F equal to 0 represent a closed surface in the stress space. No change in plastic deformation occurs as long as F less than 0. Change in plastic deformation occurs when F is equal to 0. No meaning is associated with F greater than 0. The parameter K is called a work hardening parameter, which is assumed to depend on the plastic deformation history of the material. Work hardening will be considered later. Here let us consider two simple example to see the plausibility of the yielding assumption. Now very important thing, yielding condition of von Mises, very important for your exam. What are the yielding condition of von Mises? The yielding condition of the von Mises, that is equal to sigma ij j2 minus k square. Okay, j2 minus k square, sigma ij, that is equal to j2 minus k square, where j2 is the second invariant of the stress deviation. j2 half sigma prime ij, sigma prime ij. For an ideal plastic material obeying von Mises condition, K is a constant independent of strength history. The stress strain is characterized by the condition J2 less than K square. With plastic flow possible only when J2 equal to K square, whereas the condition J2 greater K square can never be realized. These are the conditions specified in section. For a work hardening material, K will be allowed to change with strain history. If a material obeying von Mises yield condition is subjected to a simple shear sigma 1 2 while all other stress components vanish, a state of stress realization in torsion of a thin wall tube, that is then J2 equal to sigma square 1 2, and yielding should occur when sigma 1 2 equal to K. Hence the number K means the yield stress in simple shear. Very important formula, J2 is equal to half sigma prime ij and sigma prime ij, sigma 1 2 that is equal to K sigma 1 2. Yielding condition of Tresca. Tresca first advanced the idea of yielding criterion through his work on metal forming in an armory. He concluded that the decisive factor for yielding is the maximum shear stress in the material. Tresca criterion stipulates that the maximum shear stress must have constant value K during plastic flow. To express Tresca's idea analytically, it is the simplest to use the principal stress sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3. Sigma 1 greater than equal to sigma 2 greater than equal to sigma 3. Then Tresca yielding condition F is equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 3 minus 2K. Okay, so sigma 1 that is greater than equal sigma 2 greater than equal sigma 3. That is the yielding condition of Tresca. However, F is in the form is not analytic. It violates the rule that the manner in which the principal axes are leveled 1 2 3 should not affect the form of the yield function. To obey this rule, we observe that Tresca's condition states that during plastic flow, one of the differences sigma 1 minus sigma 2, sigma 2 minus sigma 3, sigma 3 minus sigma 1 has the value 2K. Hence we may write F is equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 2 whole square minus 4K square, sigma 2 minus sigma 3 whole square minus 4K square, sigma 3 minus sigma 1 whole square minus 4K square equal to 0. Okay, so this is the value of f is equal to this one. Okay, now this one f is equal to, what is the value? F is equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 2 square minus 4k square, sigma 2 minus sigma 3 whole square minus 4k square, sigma 3 minus sigma 1 square, okay, minus 4k square. Okay. So up to this one, today I discuss that this one today I discuss up to this one. Student, if you prefer it, you may like and this video as well as the PPT is uploaded by me in YouTube. If you prefer my video, you may like it. Okay, thank you all.